Market, the ultimate podcast for all you hustlers and dreamers out there. Join us on this electrifying journey from side hustle to CEO, where we dish out insider secrets, success stories, entrepreneurial wisdom, all that you need to be successful in the business world. I'm Kier Denine, the CEO of DNA Today, and your co-host. And my co-host is Benny.
Thank you. Welcome. Benny here with Kira.
And he's, as you guys can see, if you're watching the video version of this, the CEO of Ishook. And we're going to be kind of talking about utilizing AI tools today to streamline your workflows as an entrepreneur. So we'll talk about some of the tools that I've used, and we're really going to highlight Ishook's tools too, so that you guys can see. And I think we're even going to have a kind of behind the scenes look on that. And I'm going to be learning a lot about it. So I'm going to be learning right along with you guys. But a lot of the tools that I use is really to save time and money. I think that's like the biggest thing. I think those are two big aspects as an entrepreneur. So Benny, just off the top, like before we get into Ishook, are there other tools that you've used maybe before Ishook, before you guys developed your own AI tools, or other ones out there?
Well, so we use, and we're going to drop the link on YouTube and also the other places that we have ability to drop the links and like probably I think X and all the other social medias besides our own socials. So there is a tool called, and I want to share it with you. Let me share the screen. Let's go here. So this is Ishook.ai, but I want to share with you another tool that we use. It's called Taja, right? And Taja.ai will give you the link, and if you can support us by using our link, you'll give us a little support for our show and all the other shows that we do, because we get a commission for affiliates. So we have an affiliate program, and what Taja does, if you go over here, so if let's say I would take an example, any YouTube channel, right? Let me get a YouTube video from one of our videos that we have. So if I go and get a YouTube video, right, and I would drop it to this platform, and this is key. You need this done for every entrepreneur who's doing podcasting or who wants to get visualizations, or he wants to get certain things done for their own platform or their own messaging. I apologize for that. So let's say I would take any vid. I'm going to find a vid here that we didn't do yet. Let's see right here. Just be patient with me, peoples.
You're good. Here. We're still seeing the optimized YouTube video, so you're in a private session over there, so it's good.
Oh, okay, good. So we're here, copying, pasting a video, right? And then what I'm doing is I'm pasting it to this thing, Taja, and I'm saying optimize for me. And what it does, it now starts optimizing and analyzing the video for optimization for YouTube. So it gives you a score for the title. It gives you the breakdown of the video, which is what you want, the breakdown of the video. So I'm right now doing a live video of one of the videos we have on our podcast.
Oh, transcribing? That's
transcribing
really
the video and then it gives me here the 100% Carmen's journey from indie gaming to $1 million wins, right? And then you have over here the breakdown of the whole thing. And then when you have this breakdown set up automatically,
segments are nice. Yeah, with all the timestamps.
All the timestamps, automatically YouTube will break your video with those timestamps. So the YouTube will make breaks for the video automatically.
Right, I've noticed that. Yeah.
Yeah. So once you have those timestamps available, now you can generate thumbnails. Just for the heck of it, let's generate a thumbnail. I mean, I have my own thumbnails, but whatever. Let's generate the thumbnail.
Sure. See what it comes up with.
It comes out crazy.
SEO optimized, search engine optimization too.
Probably, yeah. I mean, well, it does for sure does the SEO with the keywords, right?
Right. Yeah, we saw that. That's kind of in the background a little bit.
Right. So then it's choosing most engaging thumbnail concepts. And I found Taja.ai to be very, very helpful. And again, please, every user, if you can click from our link, that'll be awesome, right? Because you're going to be helping us if you sign up, to sign up with our link.
And sometimes when you click through an affiliate link, the person signing up gets a discount too. I don't know if yours does that.
Yeah, possibly. I don't know about this one, but I know for sure they're helping us. And if they're going to register anyway, help us and register with us. Yeah, why not?
Yeah. So with this, as we're waiting for it to come up with these results, so you need to actually post the YouTube video to then give it the YouTube link. So
yes, it has to be public. The video has to be public.
Okay. So that's really helpful for people to know. This is not something to do before you're releasing the YouTube video. So
No.
what you're getting from this then, obviously like those moments to be like, oh, this is like, how YouTube is breaking it up, kind of written in that way, which is helpful.
Yeah.
But because you've already posted the YouTube video, how is this then helpful? Because a lot of times tools that I use, it's the prep work to get to the point that I'm actually posting the YouTube video.
So I try to explain to everybody, you don't need to do the posting prior. Like the posting, you can do something simple, which we could do in another episode. I don't want to get into that too much.
Sure.
But I would use Adobe Express for the pre-game. So I try to break the podcasting and when you're doing tasks within podcasting and YouTube, pre-game and post-game. Pre-game is basically, what do I need to do to initiate a podcast in the tech aspect of it, right? In the general aspect. So I say, listen, the pre-game doesn't matter. As long as you have a good thumbnail, which is quick, 1, 2, 3, that's all you need. Don't waste so much of the pre-game. Go live and let it be live. And then from YouTube, which is anyway the highest, so far, the highest paid monetizing platform that you can get on is YouTube. Soon it's going to be iShook.tv. We're going to give it at least 10x on the monetization, right? Which people should really focus on. And we have ClickTalk, which is part of iShook.tv. It's powered by iShook.tv, which is the app version. And what happens is now you got to worry about the post game. Then you worry about the post game. And when you're on the post game, basically means what is my success rate after I posted the product? So then what I suggest to everybody is don't try to go only live in the beginning. Focus on the post game 80% till you're able to have a huge live feed of hundreds and maybe thousands of people, maybe in 10,000 of people. You know what I mean?
So part of that is that taking, oh, this was a really good 20-second clip from the show, and now you're taking that and posting it again.
That's already shorts. I didn't even talk about the shorts. I'm talking about right now the full episode. So you have the pre-game and then the post-game. So then I use Taja as the post-game. So basically it does all the work for me. So you can see already here, there's like great pictures for
that's cool.
For AI. Yeah, for AI.
Like an AI generated
yeah. Look,
image.
like now she's like a superhero, like
it's like kind of a cartoon.
Yeah, I might even use one of these, It's like really cool. And like
Taja
really does a good job, by the way, with these images. And because it's taking off from the whole transcript, it's taking off from the title, and from there it's already generating your AI thumbnail. And it's also
so then will you take that thumbnail and replace the thumbnail that you've used before when you uploaded the video, or will you
do it automatically? So get this.
YouTube.
Oh,
sync to YouTube.
And it will do it automatically. Go to your YouTube studio right here. I'm showing the behind the scenes of our YouTube studio, and it's done deal. I mean, well,
insider look about to happen.
I would have to upload it privately. So I go here and I would go here and I would have to upload the thumbnail privately. There you go.
Okay, so he's in a different tab now doing that. But yeah,
and that's it. It's done. So I just changed the thumbnail. Made it a little bit a little sexy over here with the thumbnail, a little bit nice and set up. And there you go.
And it's really important because thumbnails is what people like when they're searching for a topic on YouTube. That's what they're seeing. So that's how you want to grab people and really have that be engaging and kind of clickbaity a little bit. And so that you get people actually clicking on it so that they can look at your awesome content.
No doubt. And that's really where we're specifically at here. I mean, that's the reality of what we're doing. Just to get back to our screens here. So basically that's what Taja does is I call it the post game for your YouTube podcasting post game. Now, does it work with everything else? I don't know, other platforms. We're talking about SEO marketing, and that's what you want to do. Sure. That's what it's doing. So that's the game when it comes to what we're doing with Taja as an AI, third-party AI. And listen, I can give you all the AI we work, but I'd rather spread it out with another 10 episodes of ours.
Yes.
I don't want to disclose it all in one episode.
Right. No. And I think it's good to kind of not just like throw a bunch of names out there, but as you did, kind of show or tell. So kind of say show and tell, I guess, of talking about, well, how do we actually use these tools to make things easier? Because if you were to sit down and either do that yourself or have your graphic designer that's on your team design that, how long would that take, right? That image that we saw was very intricate. So the fact that you could just use something, plug and play, and then like move that along, you were able to do that in just a few minutes. I mean, we've only been recording for 10 minutes, and that
Right.
includes the intro that we were doing. So in, less than, let's say, 8 minutes, you were able to do that. Whereas if someone was looking at a blank screen in Canva or, Adobe or any of these, editors, it would take them a really long time to do. So I think that
Yeah,
goes back to like that time and money aspect, because either you're spending your
for sure.
time or you're spending your money paying for someone else's time.
Correct. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen any third party AI do it like it does. Like
Yeah.
I haven't seen any other third party do what Taja does. Even
It's
our
really
AI platform
intricate.
can't really, it could do it and can do it. It doesn't do it like in an instant. You just copy and paste and it just does it. I
Right.
haven't seen it. So
Now,
I'm very
DALL-E is
happy with
pretty
it.
cool because and I know that's one I think we've mentioned between the two of
Oh,
us.
so now I got to show you our platform right now. I got to show it to you. You guys,
All right, let's do
you're
it.
killing me, Kiera. You're killing me. I got to show you what we're doing here. So you go to our dashboard and our AI platform, right? And this is our AI.
So this is through Ishook for people
This
that are new
is
to this.
Ishook.ai, right? Forget the magic AI. It is magic, right? That's the idea. But we're going to change that logo. But you go over here, AI editor. So you can post title generator, summarize text, article generation, e-commerce, product description, product name. There is dozens of features here, and we're going to be adding our own customized features to this, template-based platform.
Very
And
cool.
what we have over here is, let's do an AI image. Let's do an AI image. Here we go. So I have a bunch of AI images that I did, right? You have DALL-E and Stable Diffusion,
Oh, so
right?
that's integrated.
Integrated together.
Wow, very cool.
So our platform has an integration of both together. Our platform has AI video, where you can upload an image based on these criteria images, and it'll create a video from that image.
Wow.
And again, that's both, several platforms in one, several, I guess, AI. What is the best word?
AI tools within one platform.
But right, but I think OpenAI and ChatGPT is not just a tool; it's like an AI server. It's like a machine.
Yeah. It's
an AI
the
learning machine.
language
Yeah,
model.
the learning language model. Right. So they're much bigger, more robust, as opposed to just an AI. Well, we're an AI platform. We're basically an AI generating platform. But these are like the AI learning machines, right? And they give you, and you're kind of connecting straight into them. And then you have over here AI plagiarism, to check if your content is a plagiarized content, even if it's an AI production. And this is my favorite. If, let's say, you have a video, right? Here's a video, and I want to generate a blog post off the video. Give it a sec. I got to do it again. Sometimes the server gets lagged. Oh, okay. No, I can't do the share. So you also got to be careful. You can't use a share video. It's got to be a video that's what do you call it? Actually, let's press paste.
Like a direct link or something?
Yeah. Once it says the word share there, just for everyone to know, in any AI platform or any system that's pulling, once it says the word share at the end, it won't pull it. So look, it doesn't share at the end.
Okay.
Now it's going to start pulling the information. It's just like learning curve. Like, you got to know that.
Right, kind of the little
like if you're going to paste it and you say, "Oh, it doesn't work. Your platform doesn't work, Benny." No. You got to get the right tag. And there you go.
It's just
now it creates a full blog. Look, it's typing up a full blog. Wow. And guess what? Then you go to our other platform as a side point, Ishook Daily or Ishook Finance, right? And then you're able to pop up and go to admin. I'm going to go to the admin account, okay? But anyway, you can see in the admin account, you can create your own user account, right? And now you can actually post an article. Oh, sorry. Showing you guys all the real deal, how things move in our platform.
Even I haven't seen this, guys.
Yeah. So this is like, let's say I want to create a post. Oh, add a post. I'm sorry. Sometimes I forget how to use my own platforms.
You're talking and doing. You're doing a lot here, Benny.
So let's say I want to create an article, or I want to take a video, right? So that was the video I did, and I just dropped the video link, paste here, get the video. The video is already set, and then I drop the article.
AI image.
Yeah, it's pulling.
It's pulling the image that we just generated earlier.
Yeah, because we thumbnailed it already, right?
That's impressive.
And then what do? I go back. Well, I already went out, but then I would go back and copy and paste
it. Yeah.
the general summary of the podcast.
Which I also recommend for anything that's AI generated, that I always consider that to be for idea generation or a draft. So I always go through and just make sure everything's accurate. But I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
I'm not usually making that many changes. It's more like maybe just style wise,
It's like I said with Chad,
but you always have to check.
we have a
Yeah.
pending trademark called AI with human eye. Like
Ooh.
you always gotta look to what you created with
Yes.
AI. AI is just a starting point for you. And of course, you should
I
add
agree
on
with that.
more. You can
Yep.
even use AI to expand and to correct for you whatever you want. But
Yeah.
this is the ultimate game here. So as an entrepreneur, if you want to get your press releases out, this is how you do it. And guess what? In iShook platform, the iShook daily platform, or even iShook Finance, if you want to write about finance, the benefit is we're the first journalistic platform with obviously the iShook brand, right?
Hmm.
That you're able to monetize, literally monetize by publishing journalistic articles or any article.
Ah,
So right now you can have your own. It will be in a regular user because this is like the admin user right now,
right.
but it would be literally that you will get monies, dollars, and cents for per view of your article. And we already connected to Google News with SEO marketing and all that stuff. So you have an opportunity to also get your article viral through iShook Daily. And it's all for free. We want you just to write for us. Come write. Of course, there's an editorial. We got to go review it. We already have potential editorial staff coming through, you know, and you're gonna have to go through it. But it's awesome because now you have the tools with iShook to start doing this sequence of work and be able to post articles and press releases
And
and
how important
whatever.
is that, like, as an entrepreneur, to be able to say, hey, here is content of mine. I need to be putting it out there. I need more views and all that. And for iShook to offer that in that free way for people just to be like, hey, I want to share this right now,
Yeah,
and get this out there. Because a lot of other types of publications, you have to pay to play. But
of
it's really,
course.
it seems to be the opposite with iShook, where it's like you guys are offering people, hey, kind of join us in the way of sharing content, and as you're getting views, people are actually going to be making money, not spending money
Yeah,
on
listen,
getting that.
I always believe that if we create a platform and we want users to come on board, even the podcasting that we're doing, right? This is just the beginning of many more podcasts to come to really learn and generate and help everyone grow, right? Like we said last podcast, right? The 100x. I want to teach people how to make 100,000. Like that's what I want everyone to learn. Like forget the millionaires. I mean, like how first get the 100,000,
You
man.
got
I
to
mean,
get that first
get the 100.
100,000.
Yeah,
Yep.
get the first 100K. Then we talk about the million. Then we 100x on the 100, right? And that's what I tell everybody. So the point is with this sequence, like you go to Presswire, you're spending 300, 400, 500, 600,
Oh yeah,
right? And you're
it's
spending money,
wicked expensive.
right? So I'm saying is very simple. Come join iShook. We'll spend the money. We'll do it for you because we know the importance of a user and how users give their time. And we always believed in iShook that if you're giving us your time to grow iShook by being a user, we value that value. We value your presence in our platform, and therefore we want to give as much as we can where you're doing things. It's not for free. It costs money, right? By our end. But again, it's a relationship. It's a bilateral relationship that we're trying to create with our users and content creators. And of course, we want to give monetization on every type of creation of content, specifically with the word, the word, the word, the literary words, and and writing literary works is worth money. You can do short stories on iShook Daily, and
Yeah.
just put it as a short story, and it's obviously yours. You own it. We don't own your info. We don't own your creations. It's your creation, and we're
Yeah.
gonna monetize it together. We're doing a profit sharing with you guys with
Yeah, so it's
with the
it's
whole market.
exciting. It's
Yeah.
exciting to
Listen,
offer
man.
people that, and I think, like, so far we've talked about how to use like image generation through AI, and especially like how that's linked to YouTube, being able to write like show notes and other things to accompany a YouTube video or some kind of video. But I think other ways, when I think about AI doing writing for entrepreneurs, I think about, for me, what takes up the most time in terms of like the digital media, the social media. A lot of it is writing the newsletters we send out through DNA Today. We send out a monthly newsletter for our subscribers. Social media captions, like that, to me, oh my God, it's like one of those things I hate doing, because it's like you want to be witty, you want to be this and that, and you know we showed kind of writing a blog post and other emails, but I think like writing the newsletters and the social media captions or posts, I think that is such a game changer because it's so much easier to edit than it is to write. Because sitting
Correct.
there and being like, okay, I got to come up with what is my point, whatever, this, that. Whereas like you can just feed ChatGPT or these other tools. Hey, I am doing a post, for instance, recently, I live in Las Vegas. There's the National Association for Broadcasters conference. So I went there, right? I'm like, all right, there's a picture of me there. I don't know what to post, right? So I put it into ChatGPT and I'm like, all right, I went to this conference, some info about the conference, write a post basically saying like, I went and had a good time. Boom, it gives it to me. And then I can just edit it. And it can
Right.
even give it to you with some emojis in there. So
Right.
especially for the tasks that are the ones that you dread doing or take up the most of your time, AI is just amazing. And I think
Right.
OpenAI is kind of a good baseline tool. And then you can figure out what other tools you like or that integrate it, right? Like iShook integrates a lot of these tools just within
Right.
the platform.
Right. And I also find using AI and Dali and all these platforms, you have to be a very skilled prompter. And what's good about our
Yes.
platform is the preset prompts are already ready. So when you write something small, it does it. Like like the tools are endless when it comes to that. Now, when it comes to keywords or tags, right, there are platforms that do it already automatically. I suggest other platforms. I'm going to give a list also in our drop down in
Yeah,
YouTube
in the
as
show
well.
notes. Yeah.
Yeah, the show notes. And then basically everybody will be able to see a lot more what you could do because I want to help people sequences. The thing that we're going to be teaching, and I think that's what we should be doing this year, is teaching people the sequence of work. I think that's the
Yes.
best work to do. I mean, that we should definitely put segments on that sequence of work, how you should do AI, how you should prepare your AI work, how you should start doing things like hands on. I see a lot of things on TikTok and all the social medias that people are claiming they can do A or B or C, and literally they don't. I don't think they really know how to do it. Like, I think it's all scam in a sense. Like,
Or it's not necessarily a very efficient way to do it. It's a way, maybe, but it's
that's
not
true.
like one of the best ways.
That's true. I mean, one
Yeah.
segment I definitely want to do is show people how to write a book from AI, but not the way
Ooh.
everyone else does it. A
I
legitimate
I
book.
would love
A
that because
legitimate.
it is on my list in my career to write a book. And at one point, I was working with a company who basically was going to use I've been a podcaster for 13 years, so was going to use my main show that I've been doing for about 12 and go through it and basically come up with a book outline. I would approve that book outline and use the content from the show and all the interviews I've done. And then once I approve the outline, actually draft the book for me to then totally edit, right? So it wouldn't just be like published,
Yeah, but you
Kier
don't need no
Denine's an
one.
author.
Kira, I'm sorry
But
I'm doing this on a podcast, but you don't need anyone to do that. I mean, just
well,
as a
so it
side
didn't
point.
work. That was the end. It didn't end up working. So and it
Oh,
was a
so
beta
whoa.
thing
So
and it
whoa,
didn't work.
I'm sorry. I gotta jump in. Kira.
Jump in.
All
That's
right.
why I'm bringing it up.
All right. So let's say I would take your stuff, like all the material. First of all, you got to give me a criteria. Taking the whole
Right.
thing is not good. You got to
Yeah.
give me
There's
you got to
hundreds
give
of
me the
hours.
years. Right. You got to give me the
Yes.
years that you want to write about. That you say, okay, Benny,
Mm,
this year and this amount of podcasts that I did is what I want to write about. Like these are the topics. You give me the select podcasts you want.
right.
I take those podcasts in our iShook.ai plus other third-party platforms, get the transcripts of those podcasts instantly. Instantly. Like it transcribes the podcast. Then you throw it on another platform. I'm not gonna disclose the platforms because we want to first do this internally to do a
Oh
test
yeah.
run, a case study,
Oh,
right?
we'll have me be the guinea pig.
Okay, yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. And plus, I have my other podcast. I'm doing it now
Yes.
for my other stuff. So then I take that and I tried this already. And then I take that information and I say, please give me an outline and a brief summary of this podcast and provide the key information notes that are there. Like I give it a whole prompt. I get it. Then I go to chat. Then I go to Chat GPT and I ask Chat GPT, and you can't do this alone in Chat GPT. Chat GPT created so many limitations.
Yeah,
And
it's
then
a
I
lot
go
of
to Chat
limits.
GPT and I say, Chat GPT, please give me an outline, chapter to chapter, subject to subject, what it should be. There's your bait. Here, I already created for you on a silver platter how your book should start, begin, and end from things you've already said.
Right. I mean, and that's what you need. You need to start, as we said, looking at the blank screen with the cursor blinking at you. Like that is hard. But if you were already starting out with content, so much easier. Even if you're someone that's been a blogger for years, taking all those blogs and saying, okay, how can I form this into a book outline?
Well,
So
that's
I
where
think it's not just podcasters. I think there's so many people out there that have created a ton of content that are like, oh, someday in my career, I'll write a book, like my kind of thing. And I'm like, actually, I could probably do that this year. Right.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's, you know, and you don't need a ton of time necessarily compared to back in the day where someone would just like write a book and it would take years and years
Right.
and years.
Yeah, because you have to sit there. You were the AI. Your human body was the AI. But I don't think it's necessarily a cheat on the AI. I think what it is just we're saving time.
You're
Because
using it as a tool.
right. Because what I like about taking from a podcast, I said it already. I didn't make it up. It's just I can't remember every word I say. You
Yeah.
gotta be an ultra genius for that. Like to remember every single word you say till they say, okay, no, oh, I said that. Let me paraphrase that. Let me put in the book now. No, I mean that's
Yeah.
near
We're not
impossible.
savants in that way. No,
Yeah,
other
we're not.
people,
We're not
yes.
there. We're not there. We're
Not me and
savants on
Benny.
other things.
No. Yeah, definitely.
Right. So that alone, AI has given us an opportunity, an ability to do things that we would have never been able to do before. And now we can get our message out even better, then create an audiobook and have our information concise. And remember, many times when we're doing podcasts, and a lot of people don't know this, is we're creating ideas off the cuff sometimes.
Oh yeah,
And
especially
yeah,
this show.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I love that. That's my main way of doing shows.
Yes.
So even in that instance itself, like I'm not gonna remember everything I said off the cuff. It's off the cuff. And sometimes when you do things off the cuff, it's like, wow, you said something
Sometimes
great.
you come up with some great ideas that, hey, they were captured in some way. How can you pull that and use it in a different form? And I think that's a lot of, as entrepreneurs, if you're in the digital space, like we both are with our different companies, that it's like, okay, how can we take this one piece of content we made and turn that into many pieces of content? And like, for instance, this is, you know, probably going to be like, you know, whatever, 45 minutes, an hour long podcast episode, right? There's a lot of different things we are talking about in this episode that we can take out, like shorts that we kind of mentioned before,
Sure.
and click talk and all of that we can post on. But it's like taking one thing you did and turning it into a lot of different pieces, because then you've created so much more content instead of sitting down and making all of these original pieces, because not everybody's going to listen to this full episode of us, right? Some people are just going to listen to something that we post on ClickTalk, which is an Ishook branded app, and something on Ishook Daily, right? So not everybody's going to consume all of these pieces. So you're able to grab more of your audience and engage them too, especially when it's in a short form that might lead them then to check out your long form content.
Right. And of course, even though we have all these platforms that we've created that are native to us, am I allowed to use the word native? I think we're allowed to use the word native, right?
Yeah, I
that
think
are
so.
native to our, I think so. I don't know. We don't want to be canceled in one day.
I'm pretty good with PC culture, so you can always check with me. I feel like I tend to be pretty good. Yes.
Okay. Yes. I think it's a native app to our own platform, right? To Ishook, but it doesn't mean we're not going to be in every other social media. Our intent with our social media is to create a system where you can be in our platform, but in every platform. That's
Yeah,
our
it's not about being exclusive. I think that's something
it's
that,
about giving use tools and usability. That's what I look at.
and spreading out so that you are connecting with lots of different audiences. Yeah,
No
you don't
doubt,
want to be
no
on
doubt.
one thing. We've even seen this in the podcast space that are there. There was a big shift, I think this year, I want to say, of like Gimlet Media and like, you know, that's the Spotify studios and all that they used to have all their shows really be exclusive on Spotify. And then they learned, you know what, we can do, like, that's actually not advantageous for us. And they've started releasing these shows on all platforms, not just Spotify. So if Spotify is doing that, you should be doing that too.
For sure. But I do suggest people should read the terms and conditions with the audiobooks in Spotify. I don't know if I said this before, but I heard that in Spotify, I don't know how much it's true, but we definitely got to do research next. I'm going to do research for the next episodes about this, because this definitely has to run in entrepreneurship. Because when you publish a book, you want to do an audiobook. And apparently when you have an audiobook in Spotify has a right to edit and claim the audiobook as theirs. They have the use rights.
Oh,
that's why I'm very
we'll have to look
scared
into
about.
that.
We definitely have to look into that.
Interesting, because there's so many audiobooks, and for people that have Spotify Premium or the family plan or whatever that you pay for Spotify, you can listen to about 15 hours of audiobooks a month that are included kind of in their little thing. So, and all major books are on there. Like, I haven't gone to search for book and it hasn't come up. Sometimes it's not part of you can stream as your 15 hours. Sometimes it's separate. You got to pay for it. But yeah, so that's interesting, because like pretty much all the major books are on Spotify.
Right. But eventually
we'll have to dive into that.
Yeah, we have our own ebook app with all. Hopefully,
Yes.
we're gonna integrate what do you call it with there? We're gonna integrate audiobooks in the coming 6 months actually.
Yeah, which is
So
really
that's
exciting
gonna
because
be
I think
very good.
audiobooks, like, I mean, especially I think with podcasting, kind of the audio space, podcasting really took off like 10 years ago, I would say, when Serial Podcast came out in 2014. Now we're in 2024, so we're 10 years later. But I think even the last few years, a lot of people have started listening to podcasts more often. And then they're like, oh, now that I'm listening to podcasts, I'm like, oh, I could start listening to audiobooks. I think, especially with Spotify adding audiobooks, I think that there's just been a big adaptation of like people using audiobooks way more. I mean, I've been listening to audiobooks probably since like 2008, because I'm like, whenever you're doing any kind of like, just kind of monotonous tasks and doing dishes, whatever, vacuuming, whatever, it's like so easy to consume content,
Right,
just in that way. So I think that's awesome. I'm like so excited. I mean, I knew about this before,
right.
but I'm
No,
like
no doubt.
so excited you guys are joining the audiobook space because I'm someone that listens to a couple audiobooks a month.
Well, not
That's
no
how my
doubt.
Goodreads keeps up.
Right. But by the way, audiobooks is you said the key word. I mean, audiobooks. I'm sorry for pointing at you, but you said the
No,
key
I love
word.
it. We point at each
Like
other
I'm
a lot,
excited.
actually. I really like it.
Audiobooks itself is, I think, the multitasker. Like if
Yes.
I'm reading a book, I can't multitask.
No.
But if I'm listening to a podcast and reading and doing and listening to an audiobook, I can multitask.
Yeah.
So basically I can do other activities and still be listening to this audiobook or whatever or whatnot, whatever it is, and
Yeah.
educate myself or learn something or just listen to a novel while I'm cooking, while I'm baking or
Mhm.
whatever it is. I mean, I cook too. I love to cook.
Yeah,
But in general,
chores,
like
driving, walking. Like I've been trying to walk a lot more recently and get out of this desk.
right.
And so I mean it's just so great. And I think what's great about the audio space too, in terms of entrepreneurs and connecting with your audience, is like if you are reading something, you're just reading in your head, right? You're not really hearing that author's voice, literally, right? You're not hearing their voice, you're just seeing the words on the page. But when you have someone actually talking to you, even if it's an audiobook, it's connecting with you much more. And I think I listen to a lot of like celebrity memoirs. I find them very easy to listen to. So if I zone out for a couple minutes, I'm not lost in a fiction story. So I tend to listen to a lot of celebrity memoirs and things. And it's so much more impactful to hear it because these celebrities usually read it in their own voice. It's they're reading their own book. And the impact is so much more. So I think when entrepreneurs are trying to connect with their audience, having content where, video, audio, but there's something so personal about audio because you're coming into their world. Like as I'm doing dishes, as I'm doing these things in my own life, you're coming in and joining me during my day. Whereas video, all right, you're sitting there, you're watching us, right? And I think that's an important part. But I think there's something special about just audio in that sense that entrepreneurs should really take advantage of.
No doubt, I agree with you. I think when a person who wrote the book speaks his own book. Now, but again, not everybody can, right? So we're not gonna.
Right.
I don't want to diminish those individuals,
But
right?
when you have the opportunity to and you
Right. And if you
can.
like Matthew McConaughey has it in his
Yep.
book, and then you have Jordan Peterson in his book, and then you have many others who do it in their book. I mean, I can go on and on, right? But
Mhm.
the 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 idea that they're speaking it makes a huge change. It makes a big change. I think almost every author does it. And the point of it is, I think, well, not the point. The point of it is how I feel when I'm listening to them, like they're in the room with me,
Yes.
and
You feel
that's what it.
connected to them. You
Yes,
feel like you just spent 10 hours with them.
right. So
Even
it's
like
like
when I'm
it's a long
yeah.
form podcast. That's why I look at it.
Yes.
It's a long form podcast, and that I think that's the ultimate thing. Long form podcast. That's really what a book is in a sense. You know, what I mean, like that's what I really feel that it is. And again, podcasts are awesome because people are giving. And again, I think I said this either in our podcast or in another podcast that it's holistic information, not fragmented information. And we don't want
Yeah.
fragmented information. And honestly, that's really what I want. I want our platform to really engage in holistic information. Even if you know it's a snippet or a short or whatever it would be, I want them to understand it's connected to more of a holistic information. So before
Yes.
you comment, learn a little bit, like give a little nudge here. By the way, you can learn about the whole thing if you watch the whole
Right.
video,
Yeah,
right?
this is
Like,
just the clickbait, like, here's the
right,
little thing to get you engaged, the hook.
correct,
But then the line
right,
and sinker is actually the whole thing. And I think people have much more of an attention span for just audio versus video or other types of media. I think people are
Well,
like,
isn't
oh, I'll listen to an hour show. But if a blog post would take you an hour to read, you're going to lose people.
well, isn't the top three things that people like is music, sex, and what was the third one? And
Money.
money. Well, money. Yeah, those are three most important things to people. I think
Yeah. I mean,
music is on top.
right.
Audibility is on top. Am I right
That,
or
I
wrong?
mean,
I mean,
that
I
makes
think
sense to me. Yeah. I'm
yeah. I
not
mean,
surprised
you
by
want to
that.
Google that? You want to
Yeah. Maybe Google that as I talk.
let's
Yeah.
Google that. Let's
But,
Google that.
but
I think
isn't
that's
it,
gonna be. Oh,
yeah, like,
sorry.
isn't it so interesting though that it's like you can use the AI platforms to help you write a book based on content that's out there, right? So I'm kind of looping in what we've talked about earlier. Write a book, and then you can record that book in your own voice, put that out there, and you can use AI to be doing all the steps along the way. So I think that that's so important. Even audio editing, there's a lot of AI tools for editing that side, because for an audiobook, you're going to end up editing that, right? Like this show and really all the iShook shows are very in the moment. We're talking about this. Like we want you guys to feel like, we're in different time zones. So it's afternoon
I'm
for
sorry. I'm
Benny.
not laughing at you.
I know you're laughing at what ChatGPT is coming up with, but we want you
It's
guys
like,
to feel like you're hanging out with us and learning along with us. So
yeah, but
Benny
it's
just
not.
typed into ChatGPT here. What are the
I
top three most important things to Americans? Do you want to share what it came up with?
Yeah, it's weird. It said freedom and individual rights. I guess
Yep.
it's taking from social media. It's not taking from the stats that are coming out.
Right. Yeah. It's like,
Economic
what is it
opportunity.
scrubbing from?
Yeah. Well, it's gonna be for sure scrub from Microsoft Bing, not from Google,
Hmm.
right? And then family and community. Let me write. What about music?
Yeah. How does music rank in the
what about
list?
music? How does that rank?
Because music is like so important.
All right. And I'm gonna ask: are there any statistics?
And you're using ChatGPT 4, so you pay for
Yeah,
it,
I
yeah?
didn't want to use the iShook thing because I didn't want to.
See what it, yeah, it did.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to fumble.
Right. Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I
While
don't
we're
know.
live, that's not the best moment, right?
Right. No, but we have multiple chats, multiple types of chats. I just didn't know which one would be the one, appropriate one.
Right. Yeah, ChatGPT is a great, mental health is listed, educational social benefits. This is coming from a very like academic
Yeah,
way. It's not really including anything related to arts, which I think is really interesting.
that
Well,
is
no, actually it
interesting.
says cultural impact on the left side of
Yeah.
your screen there. Music genres like jazz, blues, rocks, hip hop.
Oh, you mean a
Um,
response one, not a response two.
and response one, yeah, sorry, did I say that wrong? Yeah, on the left
And
side
by the
there,
way,
response one.
this thing right now is new. The response one and two in ChatGPT.
Yeah.
It
So I
wasn't
don't.
in ChatGPT from last year when I got into it.
Right. And I'll say something embarrassing. I don't pay for ChatGPT yet. I've actually been meaning to do that. So it's interesting to see how yours looks different than
Oh,
mine.
where are you? Why are you smaller? Here we
I
go.
know.
Oh,
I'm
there you
like, come on, man.
go.
We got to be equals here.
No, we are. We are. Just there was
Yeah,
a
it's
click
not.
issue.
I just love, pulling your
Yeah,
finger
but don't
like,
worry
yeah,
about. I'll put you in my team. I'll create a team, and you can come on the team.
yeah,
And
no,
we'll have
that sounds
access.
really fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. So we've talked about quite a few AI tools, especially like under the iShook platform, and how many AI tools are integrated into what I want to call like the iShook platform of being able to use all of that, as we showed at the beginning. For people that are just tuning in now, definitely, click on this once the full episode is up and everything. But are there other ones that like you use a lot? I know there's a couple more on my list.
Well, I would say to every entrepreneur, you got to use Adobe Express.
All right. Tell me more about this, Benny, because I don't use this.
Okay, here. So we got to go back to the screen again. We're
Yes.
going back to the screen.
Going
Okay,
back.
so going back, guys. So Adobe Express is a tool that everyone should be using. And I've been using Adobe for literally 25 years of my life. And it's very important to use Adobe Express.
I mean, Adobe is a great company. So before we get into it, do you pay for this? How much does it cost?
Yeah, you pay for it monthly. I pay a monthly Creative Cloud subscription.
So that includes a lot then, the Creative Cloud.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And includes the Adobe Express for free. And what Adobe Express has is instant remove background, resize image,
Nice.
right? Animate from audio. Animate from audio is brand new,
That's
by the
pretty
way.
cool. That
Yeah.
I can see myself using a lot.
Yeah. So yeah, you can definitely use that a lot. And that's they have these features already embedded in their platforms. But one of the interesting things that they do have is whatever you create here, whether using AI or not, this will be a base you can schedule out your posts automatically.
Whoa.
So I can link
Is it
Um,
only stuff you create within Adobe Express that you can
no, you can
schedule, or can you
upload it.
upload?
You can upload it and save it as a
Wow.
right. You can
Because I
upload and
used to
save
use
it.
Hootsuite in the past to do that, and now I have my team go into each individual social media platform and schedule, which
No,
is
don't
a
do that.
pain. It's a lot of work.
Don't do that. So I'm going to give another hack, and please use our affiliate program link. You
And
use
again, that's
crowd.
all going to be in the show notes for this episode. So we're
Yeah,
going to put it all together after we're live here for people that watch it later.
yeah. You go to crowd create. No, wrong one. Not this one. Not this one. Uh,
Erase it from your brains, people.
yeah, it's I think it's .io if I'm not mistaken. Let me just see. .io. Let me see if this is the one.
Maybe it's that first one.
It probably is not the
That
first
look
one.
right?
No,
No,
we're
not
not
blue.
supporting those guys. We're not supporting.
Nope. Nope. We do
Let
not have
me.
affiliate relationships with
Uh,
them.
let me just see what it is. I gotta check, guys. 1 second, guys. Let me
Well,
see
as Benny
my.
looks at that, I want to mention for people also in the podcast space, another tool that I use a lot. It's called Podium. So it's Podium, like as if you walk up to the podium to do a speech. And it's really cool. You can basically upload your MP3 file from when you're finished with your podcast episode. So kind of the post production. Well, not even post production because it's done. But writing it'll write your show notes for you based on just listening to that audio. It will write those social media messages. It will transcribe the episode for you. And it's kind of cool. So it provides all of that. And then what you can also do is it kind of comes up with like a chat GPT kind of thing where you can basically talk to it and say, hey, can you write a social media curation specifically for X or specifically for LinkedIn or ClickTalk or any of these different types of social media platforms? So I found it to be really helpful because after you're done producing that episode, you can just upload it. So I think that's such a great one there. Another one that is cool, kind of we've been talking about like in the video space, is something called Descript. And Descript is
Yeah.
really cool because, and I have to use it more. I'm recommending it and I've only used it a few times, but it's simply because I need to carve out time to just explore and have fun with these tools. So basically, one of the cool things about Descript is, let's say right now I'm looking off screen, right? I'm looking at a different monitor. But what Descript will do is it will, as I'm looking at a different screen, it will actually change my eye contact to be with the camera, even if I'm not looking at it.
Right.
So it is a little creepy when you look at like a side by side of people being like, hey, this was my original recording and this is Descript fixing where my eye contact is. But that's where we're at. Like, and that's something that I try to be good at, like glancing at notes and then like looking back at the camera. But, for people that want to just like read a script or something, especially if you're doing like an ad or something like that,
So
that has
here's
to be verbatim.
sorry for
So
cutting off
yeah,
here. Definitely,
no, we're
Descript is
good.
very good platform, no doubt.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot about it. I didn't use it myself yet, but no doubt. But it's called
So what do we got here?
Content Studio, where
Content
I link
Studio,
all my socials,
which you
and I'm
have a
able,
lot.
and yeah, and I'm able to instantly post. So if let's say I want to create a post, compose social post or a blog post, this will do it automatically.
Wow.
I have it here. I upload the video. I have
And it
Canva
works with Canva.
integration.
Canva is another awesome tool I've probably
Yeah,
used
so
for
this is
10
a
years.
crazy platform, Content Studio, and there's another one called Only Social. They both are very good, and you can literally post one stop and it does it, done, right? And
Wow.
you post to everyone.
And you can
Eventually,
post
by the
everywhere.
way, ishook.com social media platform. Once you post on ishook.com and you integrate your socials, you'll be posting automatically from one posting platform to all posting platforms.
Oh, nice. I'm
So
looking
you're
forward to
by
that.
iShook, but you never leave any other platform. But here you have to like upload and everything. You're already posting one platform. But again, this is the beauty about reposting and sharing and sequence work. This is unbelievable. I would suggest anyone to use Content Studio, and then I will share
Wow.
our link as well in the notes on YouTube channel and our other
That is
channels.
amazing. Yeah. I
Yeah.
love just all these options too. We're like, this is great. This is great. This is great. I think another one I want to throw out there that I've noticed some people using in meetings is Otter AI, where you could be on a Zoom call and you're just meeting. It's not live or anything. It's just you're chatting with
Right.
other people and it takes notes for you. So it's basically like having a note taker during the meeting. So instead of one person being like, all right, I'll take notes for the session for everybody, right? None of that
Right.
anymore. Otter AI can basically do it and then it shares it. And there's other ones too. That's the one that comes to mind that I've seen people use the most. But yeah, I think that's kind of a game changer too, in terms of, as an entrepreneur, how many meetings do you take, right? How many times are you like, oh, hold on, I'm just making a note of that. Or you're typing and you're saying, I've definitely done this with you, Benny. Like, I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm just taking notes on this. Cause I don't want you thinking I'm writing an email as we're talking, like multitasking.
Right.
So isn't that kind of cool that you can use Otter AI and maybe use it for some meetings that you're also taking notes with? So
Yeah,
you
no
can kind of
doubt,
compare
no
at the
doubt.
end.
But the thing is, one thing I do get wary of is when we're doing meetings for people like, I just met you and I'm doing a meeting, and all of a sudden I have where this message is being recorded, or this video, without asking you in advance, can we record it?
Oh
Like, I don't
yeah.
like when people do that. Like,
No, I would
I had people
definitely
do.
ask people in advance or at
Yeah,
the
that's
beginning
what
of the
people
meeting being
should
like,
know as an
hey,
entrepreneur or as a person in the social media space. What right do you have? Like, when I was doing interviews based on LinkedIn for podcasters to join to start, you were
yeah,
one of them. Thank God you got on board. Um,
woo, I passed
yeah,
the interview, guys.
yeah, that was awesome. But one guy literally just put me on. I'm not gonna mention his name. I don't want to, we don't want
Yep.
no legal issues, right?
Nope, nope, just say a dude. Yeah.
Defamation, right? But but the reality is, what happened was is when he got
When
me on
John
the phone,
Doe.
when John Doe got me on the phone or on the meeting, he had an app that says you are being recorded. What did I
Yeah.
do? I quickly hung up,
Yeah.
and then I said, I will not
I don't
have a
feel
meeting with.
comfortable.
And then he started saying, based on what I was offering, that I'm a scammer. I'm like, I'm a scammer. I'm like, what are you
No.
saying? You didn't have to come on
Yeah.
this meeting. I'm really making podcasts, and I'm trying to get
Right.
co-hosts and trying to build a podcast network here. And
Yes.
you're what? You're saying I'm a
Yeah, for
scammer?
a first meeting, I would have it either mention it as you're scheduling the meeting, be like, do you feel comfortable if I use an AI to take notes during the meeting? It does mean that it is recorded. Say it ahead of time. Or when you start the call, say, hey, I have this thing. Do you mind if I start that now? And if they
Right,
say no, be ready to just take
right.
notes old school.
And then he said I was a scammer. I said he was a scammer. He hung up on me, and I had a whole LinkedIn conversation. He blocked me, and he happened
Yeah.
to be a journalist of a newspaper, plus a person who does a lot of podcasts. But whatever, it's
Interesting. Wow.
interesting. I don't know
Yeah.
what kind of journalist he was, but you can't just call a person a scammer and think
Right.
that's
And
that's
journalists
okay.
are used to recording things, but like journalists will, and I don't know if I guess I'm kind of a journalist, but will say, hey, do you like, I'm going to hit record. Is that okay? Like that's part of the process when you go
Right,
to interview someone, if you're doing it for writing purposes,
right. But
like
that's not
you
an
say that,
initial. That's not an
but
initial
not an
thing.
interview for a job. That's
Like
kind of
when I press Zoom and we were clicking in Zoom, all of a sudden, boom,
right.
recording. I'm like, whoa, what's going on? I hung up right away. I'm like, I'm not
Yeah,
doing
you're
this.
like, I'm not doing this. Yeah, so
I'm not
that's
doing this.
yeah, definitely good to mention people of like, hey, as an entrepreneur, you still need to develop relationships. I think that's one thing. Like we're talking about all these awesome AI tools to use and optimize and streamline. And instead of having, interns do a bunch of legwork, like you could have AI start doing certain things. But I think it does come back to that concept you said of like AI with human eye, right? Of we need to use it along with what we do and not have it replace what we do, but more just make it happen faster. So you
Right. You
still
need
need to
to
be using your human
exactly, exactly,
senses and
exactly.
judgment and
You need to be able to use.
yeah,
You need to be able to use. You have your intelligence has to be in par or above
yeah,
in order to truly use AI in its full potential. It's like the iPhone. You need to really learn the iPhone's UI to truly, understand how to use the iPhone. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Yeah, the IQ level. It's like the IQ in basketball. You have an IQ in
yeah,
basketball. So you know the game, you have the IQ in it. So
right.
same thing.
So here's a question for you, Benny. So is there any tasks as an entrepreneur that you would never switch to AI to doing? Is there certain things that you're like, you just have to do this yourself if you're the CEO, or, for people that are a little bit not at our level of being CEOs yet, but that are kind of that side hustle and building up the business, or you kind of like can't think of something because AI is so new?
So I tell people as follows: if you're writing an idea, like AI can't make ideas for you. Whatever we said was AI to take what you've already said as an idea, right? But
Mm,
not every idea am I gonna put on a podcast, because you don't know what the response of that idea would be. right? So
Mm.
what do I do? I for this is what I do. First, like if I'm writing a book, right, with a specific idea, like it's not in my like whatever. Let's say I did an example. We did the whole sequence to get our books put together, and then when we did the example to put our books together, right, we have an idea of what the book is going to look like. We read
Right.
the book and we say, okay, we have a lot of missing ideas that we need to put now manually in the book, right? So what I would do is I would write my ideas on paper first, then type it.
Mm.
That's what I do. Because you want because the human AI is the hand.
Mm.
When you
Yes.
write something, you're embedding it to memory. And I remember, and you should know this by the way, because I spoke this I think with Chad once, but you would know this for sure. That I believe there's a nervous system that goes from the hand muscles straight to the brain.
Oh yeah.
So that is the direct connection. So when you are writing, you're literally embedding into the brain.
And I mean, that makes sense because I think people that are my age and older and I'm 28, that didn't grow up with, oh, having laptops in elementary, middle school, even high school of like that. Like we took notes in a spiral notebook, right? But that's the way that we learned of like, oh, as you're taking notes and you're writing that down, that's getting in your brain. And that's how I would learn. So even to this day, when I'm at conferences and things where I'm trying to learn a lot, I like writing it, even if I'm not going to go back and read those notes, because that's how it absorbs in my brain better. And yeah, it's easier to refer back to notes that are typed and stuff, but that makes sense, right? Like that's how we all grew up learning
Not
through
just that,
at least high school. And even in college, I was like that weirdo that
right?
was taking notes in a spiral notebook and not my laptop.
No
Like,
doubt. And you should know one thing: if you go to Dropbox, so anyone who uses it, like every entrepreneur should use Dropbox, right?
yes, that's a staple.
Right, that's a staple. Yeah, they did a great job as a platform, no doubt about it. Now, if you use Dropbox, Dropbox has AI integration to organize your folders automatically, depending on the sequences you want, right? Writing material that you're learning or that you're studying organizes the folders and the ideas in your mind.
Yes.
What happens is people stop reading and writing together.
Yeah.
So then what ends up happening, their mind is not trained to think and organize information.
Mm.
So for sure, as a human person, you need to learn and train your mind how to think and organize in order to be a good entrepreneur.
Yeah. Like even like I will pull out, I was at a conference and I literally have like the top of this as ideas. And
Right.
I'm just like writing things. And I think that's where you kind of get inspired too of different
Yeah.
points. And you're like, as you're hearing something at different, I say conferences a lot because I'm not a student anymore. So that's where I learn. But just jotting things down. And I think that is just so great and connecting it that way. I think there's a time and place for certain ideas from AI. So I'll give an example. Like I was working with a new client and I do, as you guys can tell, obviously I'm a podcaster, but I also help people launch their podcast or edit or whatever they need to do. And so when I was working with a new client, they were like, all right, I want to do a podcast about real estate and religion. I'm like, interesting. To me, those are very different topics. So how am I going to come up with a podcast title that ties both of those together? And so I went on ChatGPT and I was like, hey, going to have a new podcast. It's about religion and real estate. Help me combine these. And it came up with a bunch of different titles for the podcast, right? Way better than me just sitting there thinking. But then I can kind of tweak it a little
Tweak
bit,
it, yeah, yeah. Because
So
it's still missing when you're doing it. You still have
yeah,
missing ideas there. I mean, I tried the same things for
right.
not podcasts, but other ideas to combine. Like
Yeah.
there is some missing material. It doesn't
But even
really.
something like that, it's just like a name, right? So it's like,
Right.
all right, come up with this. And it came up with Kingdom Keys. That is a great title and a bunch of
That's
others. That
actually
was my
wow. That's
favorite,
actually very good.
right? How great for a religious podcast, Kingdom Keys. You got the keys for the real estate, like going into the kingdom, but then the kingdom in terms of like that concept. And
Interesting, by the way. Interesting what you're
it's
saying. I got
cool.
it. I saw a short today where they said if you take the statistics of how many churches, how many congregations are there, churches specifically,
Mm,
right? So he said how many McDonald's are there in the U.S. 36,000 in the U.S.
okay.
No, I'm sorry, no, 36,000 global McDonald's globally,
Okay,
about
sure.
36,000 franchises, and in the US it's about 15,100 franchises.
Wow.
Okay,
I honestly
but
would have thought it'd be more.
right,
Yeah.
but how many churches are there? 316,000 in the US.
I was gonna say way more. Yeah,
But that's a lot. That's a
that's a
lot in
lot.
in ratio and percentages. That's
Oh
huge.
yeah.
And again, that's only churches, Protestant based. We're not talking
Right.
about
So
other
that's not even
congregations,
taking in mosques, synagogues, like different
right?
places of worship.
I forgot what the Indian temples, the Indian temples also.
Yes.
Right,
Yes.
you
A
have
lot of
Indian
different
temples,
types. Yep.
Hindu temples. You're talking about
Hmm.
also Confucius temples or any other, but I don't think they're in high numbers
Hmm.
compared to what we have with the Protestant churches. I mean, that's
Right.
huge. That is huge.
Yeah.
So it makes
Christianity in
sense
general. And
yeah,
yeah.
so it makes sense real estate and religion, because religion takes a huge step in creating a neighborhood. So I mean,
Yeah.
without
And a
having a
community and
religious
stuff.
space, yeah, you need the
Yeah.
community, and yeah, no doubt.
Yeah, but that just shows an example. Like I never would have come up with Kingdom Keys if I sat there for hours thinking whatever. So I think there's certain types of ideas that like kind of straightforward things like that, or just to get you started. So there's
No
certain
doubt.
things like I can say to ChatGPT, give me some ideas of if I was writing a book about genetics of what topics are hot topics right now. Maybe
Correct.
not right now because timely is not so great, or last 5 years or whatever, right? But I'm not just gonna take that and have that be my book draft, right? I'm gonna be like, all right, so let me really massage these ideas much more. So I think it's
No, but you
AI
also
is
have
such
to
a
be
great jumping
predictive.
off point. Yeah.
Right, but you also have to be predictive of what could be relevant tomorrow, right?
Yeah, which ChatGPT is not going to be as good at, right? Because it's looking at the history of what's out there on the internet to take data from. But us being in our certain industries, we can look at, well, we're seeing a lot more talk of this. So I feel like this is what's going to be next. So I think
Right.
that's where there's always going to be a time and place for the human brain and for you to be the CEO of your company. And as we said, using it as a tool, it's not to replace, it's to speed things up.
We should definitely do a podcast for the future, and I think we're going to end off with this, right? We should definitely do a podcast about the Neuralink in genetics and how AI
Mm,
really will affect that kind of thing. Like genetically, can the human mind contain like speed level of information? And like
that's interesting.
is a person's brain exercised enough to retain instant download or upload, whatever you want to call it? It's more
Right.
like the upload of information.
Yeah, like the way we learn, how is that so different pre-internet AI,
Yeah,
compared to now of using that?
I don't think we're made for instant info.
No, the human brain takes a while to take concepts and just the way that it needs to play with it to process, right? Like as kids,
Right.
we play house, we go out into the woods, have fun. Like kids aren't doing that anymore. So I think that's I don't know how entrepreneur that is, but I find that interesting.
Right. I think the whole point of Neuralink was to bring people back their mobilities. Like if they say
Mm,
if they're paralyzed or if they can't see
yeah,
anymore. That was the point of the Neuralink in general. But
right.
but it will
Recreating those
you
connections.
yeah, but are they looking like a matrix? You put the clip or whatever it is, or what's being thought about here, or cyberpunk? What is really being done
Yeah,
here, right? Like
yeah,
what's the idea behind all this? Can we really retain that level of I guess usage? I mean, I don't know.
right. I don't know. I
I
worry
think that
about
should
my
be a
brain. I don't
podcast.
know.
I think that should be a
Yes.
podcast. As we're talking, no, listen, I would never do it. I would be afraid to do it. I would never
Yeah.
want to damage my process and way of thinking.
Yeah. My brain's fragile enough. I have a hard enough time learning and all that. I'm
Don't
like,
we
I don't know
all?
about throwing more in there.
Right. Don't
But
we all?
yes.
Don't we all?
Yes. But at least we have AI to kind of help us along the way of different
Yeah.
things, right?
AI is an
But
accessory. It should never be your
yeah.
main.
No, no. But even that, right? Like I am a terrible speller. I can't spell. I got one time an 11% on a spelling test once in like sixth
Wow.
grade. Like I
Wow.
cannot spell. I just can't. It's just part of, I think, kind of somewhat of a learning
Yeah, I
disability,
think most
something,
people. I think most people
you
are not
know,
real spellers in a
and,
sense.
and especially nowadays, because less people are actually writing, right? We have audio,
Yeah,
everything, but
and it
it's
has
like,
to. And don't
yeah,
forget also because we don't even memorize phone numbers anymore. Do you remember your phone
no.
number? Well, your phone
I
number.
know my home phone from childhood, which is still my parents' home line, and my
Yeah.
best friend's phone number. I don't even know my girlfriend's phone number. Like I
Wow.
need to learn that for an emergency, right? At least
Well,
I
no,
know the home
I
line.
memorize right. So I memorize my wife's phone number. I
Yeah, I
memorize my
definitely should
father's
do
phone
that.
number.
Yes.
Like those numbers I memorize. For some reason, I
The
can
ones
never
that I
memorize my
dialed
mom's
as a
number.
kid, I know, but other ones, nah. but
I can never memorize
it's
my
just
mom's.
crazy.
That's the only reason why. I love my
Yeah.
mom so much, but I can never memorize her number.
It's just
It's
funny
like
how it doesn't stick
it just
because we're
doesn't
just
stick.
clicking on their face in our phone and everything. But
It
yeah, well,
doesn't
this
stick.
has been a blast, Benny. Yeah. I mean,
Awesome, awesome.
I think AI tools, obviously, as entrepreneur, you guys have to integrate them in. Like, it's not really a choice anymore. If you're not using AI tools, you will be left behind because you need to be saving that time and money. And I think just from idea generation, all that, it's just, you got to find ways to use it. And
Yeah.
hopefully, we shared so many tools today. Just try a few of them out. Just play with them on a Saturday morning,
Yeah. And don't forget iShook.ai, 9.99 a month with no doubt.
Nice.
And you get unlimited words, credits, and 10,000 images a month. So go for
Wow.
it, guys. Yeah.
10,000.
Yeah. I'm
You got to
giving you
let me
all.
know if anybody hits that, because that's an insane cap.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you think about it, you could pay someone $100 an hour for a task. So if you do it throughout the month, that you easily, the ROI on that is amazing.
Yeah, I just want people to use it because we want more
Yeah.
users, and I want people to use our platform. That's the
Yeah.
idea. Use our iShook so this way we can promote more and help others get their 100x. Through iShook. That's the
Yeah.
idea.
And everything is integrated, as you were talking about. It's like you got Dolly integrated in there. So instead of paying for all these platforms separately, why not pay for iShook that has everything in there? So,
Exactly. Exactly.
maybe because I've made such a good, presentation for it, maybe I'll be able to get a free month or something.
You'll get it unlimited for free forever. Don't worry.
Hey, I love it. I'm like, if I ask Benny live on the air, he can't say no, guys.
Yeah,
I got him.
that's the benefit of being part of the iShook group.
Hey, I love it. I love it. Well, Benny, thank you so much. This was just so much
Thanks,
fun.
Kiera.
I am just so enthralled by AI. I think the past year, my workflow has completely changed. I'm able to produce so many more podcast episodes and do so much more, on the back end of the business and stuff. So this is just incredible. So again, everybody check out all those affiliate links so that, even if you don't get a discount, which you might, a lot of them you get discounts in general, but at least you're giving us a kickback for iShook, and that's a great way to support the show. So if you got something out of it, why not support us through that way? So
Awesome.